Hello, everybody. I hope I did not do the millennial pause because my computer like freezes when I start filming. But I watched this movie like a couple months ago. It's called City of Angels, and honestly, my mom showed it to me because one of my favorite songs, Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls, was written for that movie, I believe. And when I watched it, basically the main character is a doctor, and the other main character, there's two main characters, is an angel. And he it basically like shows the lives of like the angels versus the real people. And like, spoiler alert, he falls in love with a human because he he basically like finds out that he can make her see him, but she doesn't know that he's not human until like later on, whatever. But he was so like I'm gonna spoil the movie, okay? But he ended up becoming human just to be with her, and then she ends up dying. It's really sad. But he like said something really special. Can't remember what it was, but like really cheesy or whatever. But he was just so like grateful to have the ability to feel, like, because when he was an angel he could not feel anything at all, and I thought that was so impactful and special because I think as humans we always forget that we're alive and that we have the beautiful gift of being able to feel. And whenever I have or I feel like my anxiety now is honestly not that bad at all. But I used to have like horrible anxiety when I was in high school, and it would be so bad to the point where I it would just make me feel sick to my stomach. And I would always like wish to like not feel anything or just like not feel at all. But now that like my anxiety has kind of like gone away, not gone away completely, but it's not as present or not as bad. Um, I realize in those moments of my anxiety, even though they were so painful and so like hurtful and hard to go through, whenever I did get out of it, I would feel so much more grateful for times when I wasn't feeling anxious and when I was able to just like breathe and like relax and enjoy time. And if it weren't for me feeling that anxiety or feeling just a little bit of pain, I would not be as grateful. And like the often people say like when you don't have something, you become more grateful for it. Well, I think that that's kind of like what that movie kind of interprets. Like, he did not have the ability to feel. He could not feel anything. Like, he couldn't even touch anything, like, because he was not human. And I think the first time he saw her, basically, because she's a doctor, she lost a patient, in like mid surgery or whatever, and she was like, "No, I'm gonna save him." And she just couldn't, like they wanted to take him. And so she was just like in the stairwell crying by herself because she just felt so much guilt and shame and stuff. And he saw her and he saw a tear come from her eye, and he was so amazed by that one tear. And I feel like nowadays we're just so our minds are always somewhere else. Especially, I feel like in this day and age, our minds are always on social media, and I'm very guilty of this, always like scrolling and stuff. And like while we're scrolling, we're looking at other people, and it's not just like we're looking at one person, we're seeing like hundreds of people a day, and just like we don't know anything about them, but we're seeing all these different types of like scenarios, videos, and different people's what? People's can I speak? Just different lives and stuff, and like some people may have it better than us and people may have it worse, but throughout that all we're feeling different emotions, and instead of being present in the moment and being like, well, what about me, like what do I have to focus on, what's like, you know what I mean? Because I also was talking to my friend about this, but I feel like guilty when not guilty, I am guilty of doing this, but I feel when I look at other people on social media, I start comparing myself and I'm like, oh, like I wish I was pretty, or I wish I looked at that, I wish I had this and that. And then I forget that like I'm my own person too, and that, like it's okay for me to believe that I am pretty as well, and that it's okay for multiple people to be pretty. Like, it's, I don't have to wish for something when I know, like, multiple people can have it. And, like, I often forget that, like, hey, like, I have it good too. Like, I like myself, and I don't have to put myself down just because somebody else appears to have it better than me or like does have it better than me, you know? And I don't know, I just think it's really important to remind yourself that just obviously like be grateful, but it's so important to just remember like we're alive, I guess. But yeah, as cringy as it sounds. But I don't know. These past few weeks of my life, I've just felt so like about life, even though like a lot has changed and stuff. But I think my anxiety, it's part of my anxiety. I'm so used to just being anxious all the time. I'm so used to just being like, I have to worry about something. But the minute I stopped worrying about some things, what the freak can I speak? The minute that I stopped worrying about things, I started to realize like, instead of worrying, I can maybe just be more aware and realize like, look at my surroundings, look at what I have, look at my life, and try to improve myself and just focus on the now. Because with anxiety and depression, with anxiety, you tend to focus on the future. With depression, you tend to focus on the past. And now that I'm pretty content with my life, I honestly have just been admiring each moment. Also, another thing too, I just remember as a kid, when I didn't have any technology and stuff, I would just like stare at things and like, I don't know, like for example, like this brush and just like examine it and like feel it and just like really think about like a freaking obviously like as kids should. But I feel like now I don't do that anymore. I don't even like I always when I go outside I always have to listen to music or like have my phone with me or like fidget with something because like I just my mind is so I get easily distracted and it's just I don't know. It's hard for me to just do things normally. Sometimes I watch a movie, my friend keeps my friend gets so mad at me when we're watching a movie, I take out my phone. But a lot of times I do watch movies and I just like start like play I used to play Block Blast on my phone while watching a movie. I deleted I deleted Block Blast because I would just start block blasting anywhere and it's just like why can't I just focus on one thing at a time? And the minute you start focusing, you see improvement and you gain something from something. I'm really tired, guys. I need to go to sleep. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys all have a blessed day. Bye.